Thank you, Melissa.
Mhm. Well, welcome everybody to the Mentor Program Master School information session. We're so glad that you're here. We are Tracy and Melissa. I think you guys probably know us by now, but it's so good to see you. All right, Tracy, you ready for this one?
Yeah, I love this because I can relate to all of these almost on a daily basis. So we're going to ask you to just choose an emoji that best describes how you're feeling today. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to go with 15 minutes ago, I might have said B, but right now I'm going to say D because I'm feeling a little bit kind of like that. Melissa, how you feeling?
I'll go next. I'm C, but
Oh, of course you are.
a lot of times I'm C. So anybody else want to jump in?
I felt earlier, definitely felt D, but now I'm feeling a little closer to C now that the day's ended.
Good. That's a good feeling.
So I feel like I'm some of all of them because of the different hats that I wear. So it's, you know.
It depends on what's going on, right, in the moment. I gotcha.
Definitely.
Yeah, love it. Okie doke. So we wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of get a feel for what this whole process will be like for you if you choose to move forward, and we certainly hope that you do. But so we have the information session today. So you're here, yay, first step. Congratulations, we're so glad. The next step will be that you're gonna, after we kind of get through today and you ask questions or whatever you need to do, you're gonna email myself and Melissa by the 4th of October, showing your interest, like, yes, I want to move forward with this. And once we get your interest email, we're going to invite you to a virtual interview. And then once you've interviewed, if chosen, the 18th or the 20th will be the interview. And then, excuse me, I went backwards. The application is due on October 11th. And then, of course, if you're selected, you'll be notified the 18th or the 20th of the month. So kind of a simple little process, but we wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of see what the process is like first before you kind of had to make the commitment. So I'll just keep going. A couple of things, though, that you're probably going to be asked to do if you go through this process and you become a master school. We ask that you help us advertise you. You are the school. You're the ones that have all the amazing things going on. You know what's happening in your school better than anybody else. And we like to be able to include advertisements in our monthly newsletters, the BT Beat, especially the one that goes out to like mentor contacts and mentors, which you ladies are probably used to seeing. And we want to be able to advertise some really specific stuff to your school that kind of says, hey guys, come on out and visit us as a master school. Here are the things that we can do for you. Here's what we're working on right now. Those kind of things. So we do ask that as a part of becoming a master school that you would do some of that work yourselves to advertise yourself. Also that you keep in mind that you kind of have to have a pretty flexible schedule to allow for not only the visits, but also to debrief after those visits, because just like anything else with students in the classroom, if you just tell, or if you just kind of have them engage in some lesson and you don't do something to follow up to see if it had an impact on them, the same thing's kind of true here. We want you to do that follow up, make sure there are no questions, find out how things are going in the building of the visiting mentor contact. And finally, that follow up communication can be, you can follow up with the visitors via email, phone, or virtually. So we have found that last year that just due to the fact that we had no other choice, we were really amazed at how easy it was and how nice it was to do our meeting virtually and also debrief that way. So feel free, to have that flexibility again, if you guys go through the process and are chosen to be a master school.
Tracy, do you want me to do this one?
I'm sorry, sure.
So connecting to the mentor program plan, because you're here, we know that you are already skilled at what you do as mentor contacts. But one of the things that you want to think about when you are considering becoming a master school is utilizing your mentor program plan to help others. So when we look at this quote, leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. What does this make you think about?
It makes me think about just kind of the work, like I work as an academic coach. So I think about some of the work that I'm doing with my PLC teammates.
Thank you.
It just makes me think of just empowering people and helping to build their capacity so that they're not relying on others all the time to do some of the big heavy lifting.
Mhm.
That's great. And that's what this is all about, right? When we think about these mentor program master schools, it's about building that capacity in others.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. So how does the program plan fit in? So we encourage all of our master schools to be prepared and ready to share their program plan with visitors, because not only do we want you to experience what goes on in a master school if you're a visitor, but we also want you to know the time and energy and effort that went into creating that program in the building. And it starts with that program plan, like how you build that out, how you think about it, how you kind of plan from the end result backwards to try to get to where you want to be. So you want to make sure that you're making adjustments based on any feedback that you receive from us or even visitors, right? So as we go through the year, your mentor program plan is always being modified, right? So you can always go back in and make adjustments, add things, delete things, whatever you need to do. Making sure that you have some really strong tasks or evidence that you can share with these folks that come to visit you. The evidence really should show results, positive or negative, because here's the thing, we grow from results. So we encourage our master schools to be sure that regardless of what they get from a task or an activity that they create and engage in, that feedback or that evidence tells them what to do next. So if the results weren't the greatest, it tells you, well, I need to step back and maybe think about it a little bit differently and go about this a different way. Or if the results are really positive, then it's like, oh, I'm on the right track. We're going to keep moving this work forward. And then there's always the BTD&S team to provide that initial support to ensure your plan is master ready. So Melissa and I really do enjoy working with mentor contacts in general, but also our master schools. So we always review those master school mentor program plans ourselves, so that because we already have that relationship with our schools, so that we can kind of provide the feedback that they might need to make sure that when they have their first visit coming in, that they're going to be ready for it. And I think that's part of what we do when we have new schools onboarding as a master school, is that we kind of spend some time building things, getting you guys ready, giving you feedback before we ever kind of go live with visits. So it's not like you go through the application process, you're accepted, and tomorrow you can get a visit, right? We'll do a lot of that work with you guys prior to that happening. Okay, so the process, so after we receive interest in an email, Melissa and I, on October 4th, we'll send the application link out to you guys. So hopefully we'll hear from both of you, and then we can just turn around and send it right to you. You can complete that application and get it back to us as soon as you can. Okay, so this is simply a calendar of dates that Melissa and I use each year to kind of, so that you kind of have a walkthrough of kind of what to keep in mind if you choose to apply. That just kind of keeps you straight so you don't kind of get confused on those deadlines. But we have that, and we can certainly include that in the email as well when you get that application back. Okay, so we know that you've got this. I think Melissa's going to spend a few minutes kind of sharing her perspective on a few things, but I love this quote. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. And again, just like the last quote that Melissa shared, This is kind of at the heart of what we do at the master schools. We really want those schools to be able to impact other schools across the district and help make them great. It's good stuff.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah.
The
real-
next portion of our time is called the real deal.
Mhm.
So some of you may know that prior to joining BTDNS, I worked at Sterling Elementary, which is and was at that time also a master school. So Tracy and I think it's beneficial to share a perspective of someone who's been in a master school with you all. The model that was occurring when I was at Sterling was utilizing monthly mentoring meetings. And what we would do is the visitors would come, they would attend a meeting, and then we would debrief with them after, and then of course do that follow-up after they've left. But the methods and the ways of doing master schools have evolved over time. So now, especially in this world that we're in currently, things can take place over Zoom. You can request a one-on-one with a school. There's lots of different ways, but this was just one way that we did it at Sterling. So for now, we'd like to just kind of look at who, what, where, when, why, and how of being a master school. So let's take a look at the who and the what. So when you think about who, a helpful tip is to have someone to do this alongside of you. So if you're a mentor contact, you could pull in your lead mentor. If you're a lead mentor, you could have somebody else help you along the way. It just makes it more fun and exciting to have someone to do this work together with. It's important to remember that this is a distinction. So Tracy and I talk about that a lot. Like, this is an honor. This is something that you worked hard to become. It wasn't just handed to you. Oh, we think you're good, or oh, we think you're good. This is something that you have to apply for. You have to attend, you have to do PLC work. So this is something that is definitely a distinction. I love that word, distinction. And to own the work that you do, going back to what we talked about earlier about building that capacity in the mentees and mentors in your building. When we think about the where and the when, what I love about this is it's the same dates and times, right? It's not anything different than what you're doing. It's really just being able to advertise and publicize all the great things that are happening and allowing other people to come and visit and see and learn from you. But the difference with it is the intentionality that goes into it. So there's preparation for visitors that happens, there's extra communication, and of course, being available to others as they need you. When we think about the when, it's making the time for success is key and to stay on top of it. So just like with anything, there's a lot that goes into being successful with this. But if you're able to stay on top of it and be organized, you'll definitely be successful and have fun along the way. Why and how? So just like with anything in life, you have to want this. This isn't something that you kind of go into and you say, oh, maybe we'll just go ahead and apply. This should be something that you really desire to be and something that you're proud of and something that you want others to learn from you. To make it happen, having principal support is key. And I know that your principals would be so, so proud of you that you're even here at this very first step, right, of attending this information session. Along with the principal support, having your staff buy into it really helps a lot. So at Sterling, we publicized when we would have visitors come. Our teachers loved having people come to learn and see all the things that we did that made Sterling unique. So some items to consider. You have to be good with feedback. So we know that feedback is a gift because Tracy and I will share things along the way that will help your program to grow. Along with feedback, we know that we grow when we hear things and learn from others. And of course, using your mentor program plan. So you'll find that a lot of beginning or new mentor contacts really need that extra support with the mentor program plan, and they can learn a lot from you if you become a master school. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. We love this quote and we want to end with this quote because we believe that you have what it takes to consider applying for this. This is something that can be inside of you if you choose to. So we thank you for this time and I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions. And Tracy, if you'll just go ahead and stop the recording.
Yep.